Hey friends, my name is Bree. Welcome to Call Me After Coffee. I know there's a ton of new people here. We just hit 3,000 and I'm so excited. So thank you so much for everybody new who's joined. I just thought I would quickly let you guys know what my name was because I don't always remember to say it in videos. Anyway, if you haven't seen this series I'm excited for in 2020, I will link that up in a card above my head. But today's video, we are going to be talking about standalones that I'm excited to get to in 2020. And like I said in that other video, these aren't necessarily books that came out in 2020. In fact, none of them are books that came out in 2020. These are all but a couple that I already have on my shelves. So the first two that I have on here are actually recommendations from Katie at Life Between Words. I will link her channel down below. She's super sweet. I actually met her on Instagram, but then realized she had a channel, so that's super exciting. And these are both middle grade, so she'll be very excited about that. So the first one that I have is The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and I will put a picture up beside me. I don't remember the authors' names because I literally just remembered these at the last minute. This is, as far as I know, it's about this town or village, and they think that they're making a sacrifice to this being in the woods, and this woman, or whatever she is, some kind of entity in the woods, keeps finding these babies and doesn't realize why they're leaving them, so she takes them and finds them new homes. And then at some point, this one baby drinks like moon dust or something and becomes like magical, and then this woman like takes her in as her own child. I think that's how it works. I'm really excited to get to this one at some point. It sounds really adorable, and I have been getting more into or more interested in middle grade because my son is 7 and he's starting to get to the age where he wants to read things by himself. These books are probably still a little out of his range, but I would like to read them just to see what they're like before he does. Eventually I won't be able to keep up with them, I'm sure, but I think that it'd be nice to have a few things on my shelves that, like, if he would like to, as he gets older, like pick through, because a lot of the books that I have are not kid friendly, let's be real. And then this next one is one that I literally just heard about before I filmed this video, but it sounds so good and I really want to give it a try. I believe it's called Sweep, a story about a girl and her monsters or something. Again, I'll put it up next to me because I don't remember the authors either. But this is about a girl who is like working for a really, really ruthless chimney sweep, which I guess a lot of them were. And she gets stuck in a chimney, and then there's this little like golem monster who like takes care of her or something like that. And just the themes that the book had sounded really, really sweet and right up my alley. So I really would like to try and get to that one at some point this year as well. And then the rest of the books are in no particular order, but I'm just gonna start grabbing off the stacks. So the first one is actually a nonfiction, and it's called My Secret Sister, and this is about, as far as I know, twins that are separated, not at birth, I don't think, but within a few weeks of their birth, and one ends up in a good situation and the other one ends up in an abusive situation. And years later, the one girl goes to find her adoptive family and learns that she has a twin sister. And the synopsis on the back says, "Moving and inspirational, this is a story of the extraordinary bond of sisterhood and a tribute to two women strong enough to let love, not bitterness, define them." And I love stories like that. Like, I love when people can overcome their environment and, like, instead of becoming bitter, can see like the silver lining and can just make the best out of a situation. I just love that hopefulness because that's maybe how I am, I guess. But this is actually a book, I don't know if I mentioned this, from my sister that she got me for Christmas, and I'm really excited to read it. She'll probably get to it before I do because my library is her library, but this sounds really, really good, and I'm really looking forward to reading that one. The next one is a completely different vein. You guys know I've been talking about this. I didn't get to this in 2019. I wanted to. I didn't have time. But Misery by Stephen King. This is not something that I would normally want to pick up, but I really do want to try it because I think it sounds really good, and everybody that like follows me and that I follow seems to enjoy this book or think it's really good, the ones that have read it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this is like because it sounds very different to what I would normally read. And it's, I think, about like a super obsessed fan who doesn't like the way an author ends his book, and she like kidnaps him and tortures him and tries to get him to change the ending or something like that, I think. So it sounds really interesting and definitely something out of my comfort zone, so I'm really looking forward to trying this one. Plus it's not that big, so I could probably kick that out pretty fast. The next one is another one that I have not talked about since the very beginning of 2019 because I completely forgot about it. This is Robin by Dave Itzkoff, And this actually came back up on my radar because of Hillary from Melted Books. I believe she read this in 2019 and she really enjoyed it. And I have grown up loving Robin Williams. I always thought he was such a sweet man. And I feel like this is going to be a really, really heartbreaking story, but also really interesting at like kind of the background of his life. And it's just, even the cover, just seeing him makes my heart hurt. Like typically when I hear about celebrities passing, it's sad, but I don't typically cry. But I actually got really, really upset when I found out that Robin Williams had passed, because it just broke my heart that he was in such a place that happened. And I just, oh, it made me so sad. So I would love to get to this at some point this year. I don't think I read much, if any, nonfiction last year, so I would like to do that in 2020. The next one on the list is The Green Glass House by Kate Milford. This has been all over Instagram this winter. It is, I mean, a gorgeous cover, but this is another middle grade. I think it's centered around this boy who lives in the Green Glass House, which is like a hotel kind of. And I believe the boy has been adopted and he's living in this place, and then it's just, I think there's like a murder mystery going on, but also just like all these quirky guests showing up at the Green Glass House. And I don't really know what it's about, but I feel like it's going to be a really fun read. My friend Olivia from Liv's Library really, really enjoyed this, and she's just like gushed about it, so I decided I had to pick it up. And then the next one is actually from Olivia, which is really exciting, but this is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I have been wanting to read this since it first came out. I feel like it's really hit or miss for people, so either people really, really love it or it just doesn't hit the mark for them. I am hoping that I really, really love it. I think the way that it sounds to me, it does sound like something that will easily be a 5-star for me. So I'm really hoping that that comes true. But I was so excited when I got this for Christmas. It is just gorgeous, and I think that the story sounds incredibly interesting. This is actually the one that I painted the edges on, so I also just think it's really pretty to look at. You guys know I'm kind of bad with synopsis and I don't always do a very good job. This one, I believe, is about this girl who is extremely neglected, and she ends up living like on her own and pretty much raising herself in like the swamp. And then I believe it's sort of a case of wrong place at the wrong time, and she gets suspected of this murder or something like that. But then you also have like flashbacks of her childhood, so it's just a really interesting sounding concept. So I'm looking forward to seeing like how it's executed. The next one that I have here is The Room on Rue Amélie by Kristen Harmel. It's a World War II historical fiction. That's really all I need to know. I don't really like to know exactly what's going on. I'll find out when I eventually read it. And this one is also World War II historical fiction. So again, I don't really know what it's about. It's based on a true story, but it's Pam Jenoff's The Lost Girls of Paris. This is one that I've been meaning to read since like the spring of 2019, and for some reason I just haven't made it here yet, so I would really like to read this one in 2020. And then the last book that I have on the stack is another kind of oddball, but you guys know I love Marcus Zusak, I love Bridge of Clay, I love The Book Thief. They're two of my favorite books. Actually, Bridge of Clay is my favorite book of all time for anyone who's new here, but I really love The Book Thief as well. This one, I believe, is more of a contemporary. Marcus Zusak's The Messenger, and it's about a man who stops a bank robbery, I think. Marcus Zusak has a really weird sense of humor and a very quirky narrative, and I really want to read all his books to see which ones are hits or misses, or if I just love them all because they're just my style of book. I get that his writing style might not be for everybody, but those two books that I have read, The Book Thief and Bridge of Clay, I ate them up. I devoured them. I loved everything about them. So I'm hoping that this one is another hit for me. I've read the first chapter before and I really liked it. So I'm hoping that eventually when I read the rest of the book, I will enjoy it just as much. It is nasty. I got it used, so it's kind of got like smudges on it, and this cover is like one of the ugliest covers I've ever seen. But hopefully the book is good so that I don't have to care about the nasty cover. Anyway, these are a bunch of the books that I'm really excited to get to in 2020, or at least ones that I'm really excited about right now. We'll see at the end of the year if I actually make it through them all. Let me know down below, are there any books that you're super, super excited to read this year that you really, really want to get like read and off your TBR? Let me know down in the comment section. While you're down there, don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and the bell so you don't miss future notifications. I do upload most Mondays and Thursdays, and I will talk to you guys all in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye.